O Canada, the true north strong and free. And from far and wide, it is home and native land to dozens of different cultures. Growing up in Canada, I had never given much thought to my Chinese background. Sure, my parents were from Asia, but I was raised in Toronto, arguably the most ethnically diverse city in the world. I was Canadian first and foremost. And being Chinese, I never really felt any different from anybody else, because it seemed everywhere around me, different was the status quo. But everything changed that one day, the day of the jacket incident. It happened back in my second year at university. I was studying in the student lounge one day when two girls sat at a table across from me. They were chatting away when, out of the blue, I heard one of them say,
"I like that Chinese guy's jacket."
Wondering who they were talking about, I took a look around the room, only to realize I was that Chinese guy. All of a sudden, my ethnicity played a defining role in who I was. So having been freshly stamped Chinese-Canadian, I decided to make this documentary. Of course, being Chinese has its perks. We've got some killer food and everyone thinks you know Kung Fu. The downside, though, is that, well, everyone thinks you know Kung Fu. It's no surprise that every culture has their own stereotypes to deal with. But where do they come from? And more importantly, are they even true? Terry Wu is the author of the critically acclaimed book Banana Boys, which follows the lives of 5 Chinese-Canadian yellow on the outside, white on the inside men. I asked him what his thoughts were on stereotypes.
You know, in Banana Boys, there's a line that one of the characters says, you know, as a banana, I don't like to stereotype, but there's some patterns that are very difficult to ignore. The patterns exist all over the place, you know, like as human beings, we're very socialized, you know, we follow patterns because it's a comfortable thing to do, you know, and from these patterns, stereotypes arise.
With that in mind, I decided to test out 5 of the major stereotypes attached to Chinese people. Putting out a call for volunteers, we grabbed as many able bodies as we could between the ages of 17 and 70. These volunteers would participate in 5 different tests over 3 days to prove whether or not these stereotypes were true. For the first test, the volunteers were given a bunch of popular quotes and asked to translate them into Chinese.
In Cantonese or in Mandarin? Whichever one. Okay. I am Elijah. I'm going to be reading from a card in English and then try to translate that into Chinese.
And with introductions out of the way, it was time to get down to business.
RESPECT, find out what that means to me.
I'm trying to figure out an appropriate word to describe the whole sentence here.
This looks like it was going to take a while, so we gave the option of letting the volunteers pass if they couldn't translate the quote. That didn't really work either.
RSPCT, find out what it means to me. RSPCT, pass. Pass.
Pass. Pass. Pass.
I'll go on to the next one.
ET phone home. ET 打電話返屋企。
ET 打電話返屋企。
你有需要啦，打電話返屋企啦。
ET 電話號。
It's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
呢個係我嘅好會，如果我想喊，我就應該喊。
這是我的聚會，如果我願意的話，我會哭。
你知唔知咩叫 OPP 啊？嚇，你知唔知啊？你係咪 OPP 啊？你識唔識我啊？So I'm afraid in this case I don't know what OPP stands for, unless it's Ontario. Is it Ontario Provincial Police? No. That's the OPP I know. You have me at hello. 你聽唔聽見我講乜嘢㗎 ？Hello, hello.
Oh, okay. Hello, bonjour. What is it in Chinese? Pass.
你在 hello 時候就說服我。
You make me feel like a natural woman.
I'm just gonna pass on that one. Yeah.
Pass.
整到我好似覺得一個好自然嘅女人。
你整我好似個女仔，好 natural。Luke, I am your father. Is there a way to say Luke in Chinese?
Luke，我係你嘅老豆。Luke，我是你老爸。
阿樂，我係你爸爸。
Luke，我係你嘅爸爸。
Pass. And I think those are it. Damn!
Gosh, I dispute all your stereotypes.
On their way out, we asked a few of the volunteers what they thought of the test.
Brutal.
Brutal.
I don't know a thing.
I don't think I'm Chinese anymore.
Can you translate brutal for us?
No.
Granted, the test was a bit tricky, but I was surprised by the results. Less than half the volunteers were able to successfully translate the quotes, and those that did could only manage a handful of them. I decided to head out to the University of Toronto in search of some answers.
My name is Rick Guiso. I'm a professor of Chinese Studies and chair of the Department of East Asian Studies at the University of Toronto.
I told Professor Guiso the results of our translation test.
I think that the results you're getting here are that those who come most recently from China have most recently been struggling to learn English, and so they have a greater ability to make the nexus between the two languages. Those who've been here for a long time have not found it so necessary to study Chinese, and it's very difficult to go from English to Chinese, more so than the other way around.
Back at the test site, we asked a couple volunteers what they thought about the stereotype that all Chinese are bad drivers.
Definitely not. Why is it true? We drive really well. You'll see. I guarantee you'll be impressed. Especially for women. Really?
Okay, so here's where we have our driving test. First of all, the volunteers are going to navigate left and right through these pylons in our slalom test. And then over here, we have a parallel parking test. And to mark off the parking area, we've enlisted the help of some of our friends. Okay, so marking off the right side, we have Gary Coleman over here. Hey, Gary. And Celine Dion, Canada's favorite diva. And over on the left, we have the parking area marked off by two rugged guys, Fabio and Mr. David Hasselhoff. And let's go meet our driving instructor.
According to the stereotype, the Chinese are notorious for being absolutely terrible drivers in North America. This did not bode well for our celebrity guests. But as it turns out, the biggest obstacle for our volunteer drivers wasn't the pylons, or was it the celebrity cutouts. It was our driving instructor, Uncle Jeff. Just take a listen to what he says. Jeff wasn't really my uncle, but it was customary in Chinese culture to pay respects by referring to our elders as an uncle or aunt.
Don't hit the cone, okay? Okay. As fast as you can.
Concern the safety.
Okay.
Safety only.
Safety.
Not fast. Don't hit any cone, okay? Yep. You just want to see whether you don't need to the cone, okay? Okay. If okay. Just do it slowly.
Yeah, okay.
You can do it slowly, but don't hit the cone is safe. Try. Okay, no good.
Hi, I'm Ada.
Ada, okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Don't hit the cone, okay? We have no time limit, okay? You don't need to go too fast. Just go gently, it's okay. Don't hit the cone is okay.
Don't hit the cone?
Yeah, don't hit the cone.
Can I back up?
Yeah, you should. Don't hit the cone.
You say go now.
You go. Don't hit the cone.
Okay.
Don't go fast.
Don't go fast.
Yeah.
Don't hit the cone.
We have no time limit, okay?
Okay, no time limit.
Yeah.
Don't hit anything.
Don't hit the cone and it's okay.
If you look out there, especially in Toronto, there are like really bad drivers around here.
I forgot, this is not Daytona.
Go slowly.
And you have to think a little bit about what constitutes bad driving.
Are these pylons placed well enough that I shouldn't have?
Cone, huh?
Okay, but
we have no time limit.
Okay, but are they placed enough so that I won't that I won't have to reverse?
I think it's pretty simple in North America. Slow, non-aggressive, safe driving is very often equated with bad driving.
If you were to drive, could you just go non-stop?
Of course.
You could? Okay, that's all I need to know.
Don't hit the cone, huh?
Okay, I'll try not to.
Okay, everybody's an idiot. Everybody, like, you know, leans on the horn, everybody passes on the right, everybody's a complete fucking asshole, right? But if you're Chinese or another visible minority, it's a lot easier to attach a very convenient sort of stereotype to that because visibly you're a lot more salient.
The fact of the matter is that the first Chinese men who came here and came without their wives did women's jobs. They were laundrymen, they washed the clothes, they opened restaurants, so they did the cooking. They did the things that North Americans associated with women. So a gender stereotype of the Chinese is being a little more effeminate than some other ethnicities, very rapidly developed, and was also closely connected with physical appearance. The Chinese didn't have hair on their chest, they didn't shave a lot, and most Chinese wore spectacles. So when you put that together with the notion of the car in North American society,
show you how to drive.
Cars are macho. Boys play with trucks from the time they're very, very young and so on. The Chinese were more effeminate. And this stereotype, which of course is a false stereotype, very rapidly came to the fore. It's not a common stereotype in Europe. There, the bad drivers are Italians, basically, but for different reasons.
As for a parallel parking test, there were a couple of close calls.
Actually, I never learned parallel parking.
But all our celebrities survived to annoy us another day. Well, everyone except for Fabio.
Is this really tight?
Good job, good job.
Big. There's a gash in the leg.
Next time on A Chink in the Armor.
I can't believe I'm Justin Timberlake!